And we're live.
Oh, I had a real uncomfortable thing happen to me today that I know has probably happened to somebody before, but it's never happened to me. I was in an office building taking a shit. It was like a big building where there's like lots of different bathrooms. It wasn't like I went into one area where there's just one stall. It was like a public bathroom, and I went to take a shit, and so I was in there, and there was nobody in there. So of course I took the handicapped space, and as I'm in the middle. Actually, no, I'm wrapping up. I hear the door open and I hear the sound of wheels. And I'm like, must be a janitor or something. You know how they'll walk in sometimes and like wheel their shit in and be like, oh, somebody's using it, and then they'll leave. And then I noticed after another second, I'm like, it sounds like an electric janitor scooter or something. What could that possibly be? And I was sitting in there, and then like I saw the sound got closer, and I saw the shadow of wheels underneath where I was shitting.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, I don't even know what to do. Like, I can't leave here in an empty bathroom and be like, no, I was just shitting where you need to. Sorry, I didn't want to be in the other one.
Is there a window in the stall that you could climb out?
No, I could see
it's an office building.
Where his wheels were. And so I looked under there, and then I started hearing like a struggling noise. He had started opening the stall adjacent to me, the small one, for non-crippled folks. And so he opened that, and I was like, at this point, it's been about like 15, like I've been done shitting for like a minute, and I'm waiting for him to get all the way in there. And so I can like try and make an escape. And he gets like what I think is all the way in, because I look under and I see like, okay, there are shoes there. They're standing, so I don't know what the deal with that is. Like this guy, And so I start to open my outward door. Can't open it because his chair is there. And now I'm looking through a gap at his chair, and all I can see is him standing in the stall, struggling like a crippled person would, trying to get it worked out. And I literally, before he could turn back around, I slinked my body like through the gap and like quick walked out of there and was just like, sorry, and left.
Slinking through double proved you were not crippled. It didn't belong in that stand.
It did. I did not belong in there, but I couldn't even face the poor guy. Like I just had to yell like a meek, I'm sorry, as I didn't even wash my hands. I literally left and was like, I'll deal with E. coli. Hopefully that's not my own shit. That would be a wake up call. But I felt so bad. Usually uncomfortable situations make me kind of laugh. But no, that was. So there's a lesson to take home: is those aren't just comfy spaces for you to poop. They actually make those for people who need more space to poop.
Who knew that?
Is this going to stop me? Is this going to stop me in the future? No, because I like my power grip. Like I like being able to really force it.
You take a wide stance.
I take a wide stance. I put both my feet up on top of the toilet bowl like this, and then I just shit down into it. A lot of splatter, a lot of spray. But that's the way people pooped in the wild. Did you know that?
That's true.
That you're meant to squat. And so really we make fun of China and India for being, a couple thousand years behind, and we should. But because our way is better. But it is technically the way you're supposed to poop.
That's true. That's a recurring theme on the Larry David show on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He gets caught shitting in the handicapped stall, and the handicapped guy makes a huge deal of it. So then later on, Larry is actually injured, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's waiting to go into the handicapped bathroom, and a non-handicapped person walks out, and he goes, "Hey, what's going on here?" "That's for me." He's like, "I had to go." Then you wait. And so that's pretty funny. This actually happened to you.
In my first job, not exactly what happened to Taylor, but there was a manager. Now, this guy didn't manage people, so he wasn't my manager, but he was like manager class in the office. And I used the handicap stall all the time, thinking that it wasn't handicap reserved. It was just handicapped accessible. In the same way that I'm also allowed to use the ramp if I don't want to take the steps. That was the line of thinking. But this guy, every time he saw me in there, he would say, "Woody, what are you doing? What happens if a quadriplegic with a spastic colon comes in this bathroom right now?" That was his line. And at first I thought he was joking. And over time, I couldn't quite tell. And I worked in a call center. So you would have to set your phone to be unavailable when you went to the bathroom. So he knew that I was going to the bathroom. And then he would go in there and check to see which stall I was using and call me out on it if it was the handicapped stall. So it happened all the time.
I love that you.
Wow.
I love that you couldn't quite tell if he meant it or not, even though he does it every single time.
He was a funny person. Like, it's quite possible that, I still don't know.
Can you imagine a worse life than being quadriplegic with a spastic colon where you're just like, I need help right now! Right now! Like, the one part of sensation the good Lord left me with is knowing when I'm about to shit. And it's coming. Like,
Fuck it!
What a terrible life that would be. That's worse than like life in prison. Like in solitary confinement, right? Like if that was a new age, like freaky punishment, like in scary movies where they're like, nah, you did something fucked. We're not just going to do this. We're going to cripple you and give you IBS pills.
Does
and now that's what you have.
Necessarily mean colonoscopy, like those bags?
I don't think necessarily. No, it doesn't.
So
no, your butthole would still work.
I know.
I just don't think they have the sensation to know when they're shitting.
So it depends on the type of paralysis, but if their colon is paralyzed and they're not able to operate it, then they get like these crazy compacted poop issues. So they have to get it. Hopefully they've got an assistant who gives them enemas, or perhaps just a gangster granny to reach in there.
Because we said neck down, right? Like there's
and break the turd up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that might be actually kind of, at first I was like, well, that sucks. And it's like, a little prostate massage.
I don't think they're going to be massaging the prostate. They're just breaking up the poop.
Well, if I've got a gangster grandma, that'll be right there in the job application. Just
give me a come hither for about, just keep going. Just keep, pretend like you really want me to come over, though. There you go, Granny.
That's
you need like a small wooden cooking spoon.
No.
Get in there and do some scooping.
No.
Right?
Well, not for the prostate massage. Then you get splinters. But perhaps some to break up the poop, a small wooden implement might be the
like
way.
a dowel.
These are terrible ideas.
I started with dowels. I'm up to rolling pins now.
I mean, it's a little bit too big, so I'm giving it, some low grit sandblasting, to really get that good. Which one's the one that would make it comfortable, low grit or high grit? High grit is what makes things smooth, right, for sandpaper?
Yeah. Wait, what are we doing here? Are we sandblasting anuses?
We're sanding the butthole down, yes, to make it smooth and more appealing to the eye.
Well, I was going to sand the towel down to make it smaller, right?
Well, I've been doing this wrong the whole time.
I think if I had a lot of poop impacted, I'd take a pill or something. Like drink a bunch of water or a bunch of kombucha. That makes you shit. And I tried it, and that stuff's way better than you would think. Give it a go, people.
A kombucha?
Yeah. It's like this fermented thing that it's like effervescent, though. So it's like pretty vinegary, which I like in a drink, and it's also like very lightly fizzy. Like a champagne almost. It's real good.
I've never heard of it. Although in my nearly half century, I haven't found a clog up that can't be solved by coffee and frosted mini wheats just yet. That shit is my kryptonite. Yeah,
coffee will get it done. Like I drink coffee a couple times a month, and every time I do, like I need to be somewhere in half an hour. Like I can't be like, all right, going on a road trip, let's have some coffee. It's like, no, bitch, I can't risk that. Like, no, I gotta make sure that I'm gonna be home or somewhere where I'm comfortable shitting in the next 30 to 45 minutes.
It simultaneously makes me more productive and less productive together.
It does.
Because there's coffee. Yeah, exactly. We're not going anywhere for half an hour.
Where's the worst place you've ever had to poop in public? Like the worst bathroom? But think a gas station for most people. But there's also like concert porta potties, locker rooms. Ooh. Those are both pretty shit. Our school locker room for a while didn't have any doors on the stalls because like people would like prank each other where they just like you'd be sitting down taking a shit and someone would be like, "Ka-cha!" and kick the door off. Like while you're sitting there and like just be like, and then eventually after a couple of door replacements, they're like, boys, you've shown that you can't handle doors.
They were right.
And so you just had to sit there and like, there's like a 4 foot, wide, like scope where if someone's out there, they can just see you taking a shit.
Were you a door kicker, Taylor?
No, because I wanted my privacy in there and I did not appreciate people ruining it for the rest of us.
Now I'm sensing sarcasm. At first, I was like,
No.
oh, okay.
No, I want to be able to poop in private. Nobody wants to poop with the door open.
No.
Like Carl Pilkington in China, where you have to like squat there and people can just walk in and see.
Yeah, as I'm thinking about the worst ever, a hot, well-used porta potty is about as bad as it gets. I'd rather poop in the woods.
I was watching
sweaty.
Jack Ryan today, and there's this part where there are some people they're trying to escape from Syria to like Turkey or something, and they're being smuggled, and it's like a refugee smuggling operation type thing. And they stop for 15 minutes to refuel, and he's like, "You've got 15 minutes, and then we're getting back on the trucks and going to the coast." And they all go to like take a dump in this like refugee porta potty, but it's basically just a gigantic flat board with some holes cut in it and like blue plastic tarp sort of wafting around it gingerly for privacy. And at one point they sort of show you the hole, and this is the women's hole, by the way. So it's the cleaner of the two, and it's just caked in shit. There's just shit all over the hole. And a character gets knocked in the head and he falls into the women's shit pit. And I can think of no worse fate than to he's laying there with the open wound in the woman's shit pit.
Oh, I'm not convinced women's is cleaner. That's the better one.
There'd be way more blood in their shit pit.
That they hover.
Jesus.
That's the issue. They hover.
Well, in this case, they would all have to hover because
everybody
have to hover
hovers.
over a hole.
Yeah, it's a hole in a board. Everybody was hovering, and someone had some explosive, I guess, with that Middle Eastern food. I mean,
that's going to happen.
A lot of.
We've all seen those videos. I think it's this woman like walking on a security camera, like this big fat woman, and she like is all by herself, and she stops and like lifts her dress and just sprays shit all over the ground, and then casually walks away. Like there are 5 dozen of those videos on the internet, and I empathize with those people because I remember having to poop under a fucking willow tree outside during a class trip once, and that was no fun. No fun at all. You don't want to be that guy. But there's also no worse feeling than having to poop and not being able to.
Yeah.
I'd much rather hold my pee. That's easy.
I don't know, because like if you hold your poop long enough, it goes back in. And you get like 20 minutes reprieve.
You can get a second wind with regards to pooping.
Yeah. If you hold it long enough, the poop is like, he's saying no. Everybody back up. But with piss, it's just in there. There's no backing up. It's just like, well, T-minus 20 minutes till he either pisses himself or we rupture. That's it.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 options.
That's true. That's why you need to like in the hospital get cathetered all the time. Like if you're on tons of those drugs that like for pain and stuff, because it like shuts down your ability to know when you have to pee. And so if nobody like gives you a catheter, you'll just rupture and you won't even know.
I've never had a catheter.
I think it's either. It's one of my biggest fears.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of surgeries, but I don't think I've ever had a catheter.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest fears is getting a catheter.